Thanks again, Katie.
Thanks, George.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Strength and Realty Podcast. I have special guest, Katie Kosov. She is the managing broker here at Inter Real Estate. So I want to say thank you for coming in and say hello to everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Hello. This is fun. Look how professional you are.
Semi-professional.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you. And so I want to welcome you to the podcast. And we're going to talk a little bit about failure.
Right.
More importantly, why you fail. And I think this applies to everyone, including myself. I'm not perfect. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a 30, almost 8-year-old woman. I have a beautiful daughter. She is 11. So I've had many successes in my life. I am married to an amazing man who's 7 years younger than me, which is quite a success story.
Ooh, watch out,
for
ladies.
an almost 40-year-old woman.
It can be done.
And he's very good looking too. But anyway, I have been in real estate it'll be 18 years this November. During that time, I've experienced much success and lots of failures along the way. But that's me. I live here in the inner loop inside of Houston, but I lived in the country and the burbs in the past. So I'm pretty well-rounded when it comes to our city. And that's it.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny. I saw an article. Someone posted on Facebook. Cron's like top 20 things that Houstonians like saying slang words.
Yeah.
And the loop was one of them.
Really? So when I lived out in Conroe, there's a loop there too. It's like loop 336.
Yeah.
And everybody, when you live out there or anywhere, you always make fun of people who are like, I live inside the loop, because it's such a pretentious sounding stupid thing.
Yeah,
and then once I moved here, I realized it really is convenient because I never have to get on a freeway.
Yeah.
I'm just like a grid. So I just said it. I've turned into that jerk.
In the loop.
Yeah,
in
cool.
the loop.
Cool.
The other one was like feeder. Apparently feeder. Well, I know that. Like I've been to
Feeder roads.
Yeah, feeder roads. It's not very common outside of Texas.
No, actually, it's not. I'm from California originally, and they don't exist. You just like are in the city, and then you get on the freeway. Mm-hmm. You don't like travel along the side.
Oh yeah.
It makes your freeway actually look kind of gross.
Yeah.
They're prettier.
Yeah, the roads they're more narrow lanes. I experienced the first time in Atlanta.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager. I went to visit my biological dad, and they were driving in, and like I was looking, like there was no feeders. Like 0 feeders, and the way you on ramp, it's like the circle thing, and like
you like get on, don't stop and be stupid.
Yeah, like you have to get on. There is no like, like wrong exit. Let me just get off.
I'm gonna get off and go to a car dealership.
Yeah,
that's all we have here.
Yeah, exactly. Let me make sure this is on. Is recording? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, cool. A little about yourself. Let's get into the topic. So,
okay.
We're talking about why you fail. So. What's your take on this? Why do you think that people fail?
I love this topic, by the way. I mean, I talk about a lot of things randomly all the time, and George's like, this is what we should do.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, like I'm failing constantly. But
I don't think there's anything wrong with failing, to be honest.
No, actually, it's incredibly healthy.
It is. And I think for me, the biggest thing in learning is that it's okay to fail. Like if you fail. I tell my daughters all the time, like it's so, like I tell them like they want to do certain things and they're afraid of doing it because they don't know like what's going to come about or how to do it. I'm like, look, I'd rather you try it out, you fail, you learn something, and you learn more from that part of failing. Yeah,
failure is a strength. Until I was probably 35, I would look at it as an actual literal failure. But I am comprised of every failure that I've ever made since I was born, and it's brought me to the stage that I am in my life, which I'm very happy to be in. I think people fail and they get so negative about it sometimes because they did not prepare for that failure, or maybe their parents didn't prepare them that failure was a huge part of your life. Yeah. It wasn't until my mid-30s that one of the largest failures, I guess what you would consider textbook failure, would be my first marriage. If you would call it a failed marriage. I was married when I was 23, and I divorced a little after 30. And immediately I was like, wow, that's the first time in my life that I have legitimately failed. Yeah. I failed him because he's still a great friend of mine, so I felt awful. I failed my daughter in my mind. And now looking back as a 37-year-old woman, no, that's exactly how God lined up the stars for me. I was supposed to meet that man to have my child. And it wasn't a failure. It was a roadmap to get me to where I am today. And that's why I think some people look back and they're like, oh, I failed. I'm just going to be negative for the rest of my life. No, it all got us to where we were supposed to be if you look at it in a positive manner. And I learned so much during that chapter of my life, and I'm proud of it. And And I wouldn't have, changed it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my take is I feel that school kind of conditions you to fear failure.
For sure.
Because, you go into class, you study, and then, of course, if you fail, there are major repercussions.
Yeah.
And, but of course, like in life, there are repercussions for failure. But it's like really bad. Like, they hold you back a grade. There's no one there to help you out. Like, you have to go and, like, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
So, which is okay, but, like, they don't like tell you like, hey, like it's okay, or you may not be good at this, but that is also okay. Like you just need to try harder. Like there's no one telling you that. They're just there to like teach you.
No.
And then you test, and then that's it.
Yeah, we have. So my daughter's in public school too. I think yours are as well.
Yep.
And something that really got to me last year to the point where I thought, okay, we got to go private or some sort of homeschool, which. It's a joke if you would think of me homeschooling someone. But anyway, they do the Gifted and Talented program,
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, she would be great at that. But they do the Gifted and Talented thing. So they take a test. But they literally give the kids, my daughter was in 5th grade, an envelope to bring home, which of course they all open even though they tell them not to.
Yep.
And inside on the letter, legitimately said, and she was crying when she got in the car, when she held it until she got in the car with me, and it said, we're sorry to or I don't think it said we're sorry, it just said, recommendation or something like Remington Maxwell is not gifted and talented. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Can you think of a more horrible thing to tell a child because she's bad at taking tests?
Yeah.
It's disgusting, and you're right. Like, the school system as far as, and that literal word of failure is it's really disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I guess because I think that's another topic, but yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So, so back to, why you fail. What do you think, let's, we talked about our kids already. So let's talk about,
actual failure.
Let's talk about, I guess, like a young adult, right? Let's talk a young adult, like you're already out of college, let's say mid-20s, early 30s. Why do you think, a lot of us are failing?
I 100% think that it has to do with everyone trying to imitate everyone else, comparing themselves to other people because of social media, and they're afraid to take risks that will bring them success purely because they're afraid of getting knocked by other people. Too worried about what other people think, too afraid to step outside of their comfort zone and do something off the wall that they're good at, like you doing this podcast. How long did it take you until you thought, screw it, I'm going to do it? Because everybody, even no matter how strong you are, a little bit of you had to have been like, people are going to make fun of me. And
I was lazy.
Being lazy, that's number 2. But a lot of people, maybe is it mostly females? I don't think so. I think it's men too. You're always afraid, well, who's going to think bad about me? Or who's going to make fun of me? Like, who cares?
No, but going back to what you said, that is 100% true. Because this honestly is very easy. I don't know why I didn't do this before. It is like extremely easy. So if you want to start a podcast, please do. Because as a side note, if you're an entrepreneur, this gives you a very straight line way to push out content in so many different ways. Like I didn't even realize how many layers you can extrapolate this 10-15 minute video. But yeah, so I think other stuff like in real estate, like making the calls, talking to people, reaching out to people, telling them that you do real estate, that part, of course, fear of rejection, which I think goes hand in hand with fear of failure. So yeah, that's 100% true.
But as a man, tell me, when you met your wife, did you go up to her, and potentially she could have been like, get away from me, weirdo?
Yeah, I was 100% scared when I talked to my wife.
But you did it.
Yes, and that's one thing I like to tell myself in life is like the times that I personally have done things when I was afraid have paid off tremendously. And I think that is, I think a lot of people, like Gary Vee and Tony Robbins, like they always pretty much in a nutshell say like, if you are afraid of doing something, you should probably go do it.
Yeah, it makes you so much stronger as a person. Each failure makes you so much stronger. I'm so proud of all of mine.
Probably the scariest thing for me was making my first video.
Really?
Yeah. I think I showed it to you, the testimonial.
Yeah.
That was my first video.
That was a good one. In the park?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Oh, to me, I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, I looked at it like a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, wow. Like,
you're like, I need a drink.
Yeah, I was like looking at all the different aspects, and I was like, wow, like things have changed.
But see how critical you are? Like, instead of just giving up, you went on, because you must be critical, because I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no, I think that's another reason too, is not only fear, but I think another layer to that is sometimes, let's say, I'm going to talk to people that are like myself, are people that tend to or think that they're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Like